Hello and welcome to Alive with Amanda. We're going to be talking about something spooky today, even though it's nowhere near Halloween, which is what to do if you're audited by an insurance company. And so I am going to try my hardest not to be flippant when I talk about this topic because I know it raises a lot of anxiety for people. And so, but we have learned in my group practice, again, remember, I have a large group practice. I've been in billing insurance for 11 years. And we have been audited at various levels, like where they're just doing like a chart review, they're doing like a billing review, they're doing, I don't know exactly what they're called, but like where they want to like talk to the therapist about the clinical issues. And so we've gone through like the gamut of all of it. And I can't say that like it's not without anxiety, but we have just learned that this is a part of running an insurance-based practice. And we've learned that this isn't part of insurance. And really it's a part of clinical care at some level. And so we're okay with it. We understand that audits are going to come up. Now, if you are a Medicaid provider, that is very different. I have worked for companies that accept Medicaid, and depending on your state, in Florida, they do a lot of audits and they do recoupments around audits. And so that is a different level that you really want to have some specialty understanding of Medicaid in your state and how they audit and whether they recoup. What I recommend that you do is find somebody in your state that is an insurance and or Medicaid specialist. We have somebody in Florida that I always go to. I recommend people go to when they're going through audits. Her name is Melissa Norris. I'm going to tag her in this video. She is really like the Florida specialist. I know she does this for other states, but she started in Florida, and she really is the go-to person. She stays on top of what's going on at a federal level, what's going on at a local level with all of the insurances. And I know that if I ever decided to accept Medicaid, we would go to her to set up my practice properly. Then if we ever got audited by Medicaid, or we had a large insurance audit, like we do get records requests a lot all the time, but it's nothing like, they're not requesting hundreds of files. They're requesting 5, 10, sometimes even 3. And they're just making sure the documentation is there. Again, sometimes they'll do clinical reviews where they'll want to talk to the therapist about what's going on clinically, but it's usually more acute clients. And so, and we always have like our documentation, our ducks in a row. We're very good at documentation. I'll like pat ourselves on the back for that one. But if something came up that people, like an insurance company was trying to really recoup a lot of money for services, because maybe I'm trying to think of like, not a diagnosis wasn't covered because that would be something that would really should have been our responsibility. Like something like the documentation wasn't the way they exactly wanted it, so they're recouping. Like kind of like what I've seen Medicaid do. Like, your treatment plan was one day late, therefore we're not paying for any of these data services afterwards. Like that would really hurt, right? And so I would go to Melissa or a specialist in your area and really seek guidance on how to submit what it is that they're looking for, what the statutes of limitations are for recoupments, how to appeal, what the appeal process is. We actually ran into this. It wasn't an audit, but was a benefits issue. There was a first insurance, second insurance, primary and secondary insurance, and they came back and wanted to recoup like $30,000. We absolutely Melissa, for instance, helped me with the process. I wrote an appeal, and we fought it, and we were able to actually win because of the way that really the primary and secondary worked out. But having somebody that you know, like, and trust, understand the insurance process can really be a benefit. If you're really worried, you're really nervous, also call your liability insurance. Say, hey, this insurance company has requested X, Y, and Z. Do I have to release it? Can I do a summary? A lot of people will just do summaries of treatments depending on what they're asking for. We don't do summary of treatments. Why? Because I'd rather just send over the documentation, get it done with, and call it a day. Don't want to have to then write a summary of the treatment. And again, it really depends on what we are being audited for. I would be, again, remiss to mention that we have an excellent billing department. I have a head biller. It's not her title, but for lack of a better word, she is a fantastic biller. She understands billing. She understands insurance. She understands what they're looking for. She's read through all of the different policies, not client policies, but like the documents that the contracts that we have signed. She understands that. She knows how to call insurance companies and get the information that we need. So having somebody on your team that understands billing is also going to be really helpful. So you have to have resources when it comes to insurance billing. That is what I have learned. I don't mind insurance billing. I really don't. I don't even mind getting audited. It's a pain. I don't want money recouped, but it's like, it's fine. It's part of the process. Even in a Medicaid situation, I understand it's a part of the process, and you can build that into your practice knowing that they may recoup like 1% of what you billed Medicaid or something like that. You can really build that into your business, but you need support. You need to understand that you can call your liability insurance, that you have somebody that understands insurance on your team, internal and external. And then if worse comes to worse, that you also can work with a healthcare lawyer, somebody that understands billing, understands insurance. You can gather the information for your insurance commission and make complaints. Like, you don't have to be a victim to insurance companies. I think that's like the message that I would give somebody, is like, you don't have to be a victim to insurance companies. So let's talk about how you can be empowered around insurance companies. But first, I'd like to thank our sponsor, TherapyNotes, who makes it so easy for us to bill insurance. We bill all of our insurance directly through TherapyNotes. We write notes through there that are compliant for insurance companies. That's one thing that TherapyNotes is really on top of, is making sure that we are compliant with all of the different things that we do when it comes to insurance notes, treatment planning, discharge planning. Love TherapyNotes for that. We have never had, knock on wood, any complaints around the style of our notes when it comes to insurance audits. So they are on top of that. So shout out and thank you to TherapyNotes. So going back to having your team really be educated about the insurance process. Your billing team, your intake team could all be the same. It's fine, whatever that is, and your clinicians. I think there is a responsibility for a practice owner to really educate people that work for us around insurance, and that you also educate yourself. Read your contracts. Go to your insurance commission. See if you can get on some kind of alert for a variety of different insurance companies. Be in masterminds with other group practice owners in your area. I actually am a part of a Facebook group. It's a messenger group with other group practice owners in South Florida, where we talk about what's going on with all the insurances. And so I think it's really important that you stay educated. That's going to be your best line of defense, that you have a support system around insurance, and that you don't panic when you get audited, because it's going to happen. It's okay. And you too can make it through. Just make sure that you have your process of what happens when you get audited. I hope this was helpful. I hope you don't get audited and that you have a smooth 2024. I'll see you soon, everybody. Bye.